Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. Dad slams his phone down and the glass webbing blooms. Open meant fun, not betrayal. His voice cuts like wire. Mom stands still, shoulders tight, eyes steady, no blink. I raise my hands because the next move matters. I'm Alex, 22, and my thumb is bleeding now. The edge sliced me when I lifted his phone. Mom takes my wrist and presses a towel firm. Dad watches the blood and breathes harder, like proof. You slept with him, he fires, finger stabbing the air. You wrote the rules, Mom answers, chin forward, no retreat. He heads for the hallway like flight equals justice. I step into the doorframe and feel my ribs hum. Move, his jaw grinds and the word rattles. Decide first, I answer, pulse high, not moving. Mom unlocks her screen and angles it my way. A calendar pings and 2 entries flash: last week. He won't look, he shakes like a motor under load. Nothing serious, he mutters, eyes skittering past us. 2 overnights, Mom says, thumb steady, no tremor. Your line was no overnights, remember that line. He lunges for her phone and stops an inch short. I slide 2 chairs apart and break their angle, space. What do you want right now? I ask and hold still. Punishment, he spits and the word hangs like smoke. Not happening, Mom says and folds her arms tight. Symmetry or silence, she adds, voice flat, controlled. We tested, we checked, we followed the sheets, she continues. Safety is covered, control is not covered. Delete his contact, Dad snaps and points at the counter. Then go celibate until I feel normal again. You first, Mom answers, gaze locked, no flinch. You delete yours and call her now. He reaches for his keys and metal scrapes the wood. I scoop them fast and pocket the threat heat. He steps in close and I smell his breath change. Give them back or I walk through you. Alex, Mom says, voice low, warning and plea. If he leaves, he writes the story alone tonight. I keep my stance and nod once, heartbeat thudding. This can't be one way, not another minute. There's a knock, 3 quick hits from the shared wall. Everything okay? A neighbor calls, thin through plaster. I open the door a crack and show my palm. Handled, I say, and close it before questions multiply. I set the keys on the table and pull them back. Here are the choices, I tell them and swallow. We follow the rules we signed or we end it. Dad looks from me to Mom and lifts his eyes, choosing. Mom lifts her phone and taps speaker with a clean click. Pick up now, her voice carries weight and direction. The call rings once, then a man answers with caution. I brace for impact because this will ricochet fast. You know who this is, Mom keeps her stare on him. I'm ending this tonight, her hand stays steady, deliberate. A soft breath leaks through the speaker, then silence. Understood, the man replies and the line crackles like nerves. No, my father cuts in, palm open like a stop sign. You end nothing until I hear names and timing. Mom tilts the phone down and ends the call. We're not doing a tribunal on your terms, not now. He lunges for the handset and finds only air. I pocket it and feel heat rising under my shirt. His eyes lock on mine and the room narrows. You obstruct me, he growls, and the word tastes like threat. Stay present, I say, voice level but loaded. Decide what you want, that isn't revenge. He flinches and looks past me at the sink. Proof, he answers, and his mouth thins like a blade. Mom pulls a single sheet from a folder and slides it over. Your signature authorized everything we did within limits. He skims the page and presses his thumb over his name. That signature feels tricked, he mutters, and his shoulder twitches. Feelings aren't terms, I say, keeping my stance anchored. You escalated first, then hid it until tonight. He exhales hard and drops into a chair with weight. Fine, then we reset or we dissolve, choose. Mom doesn't sit, she steps closer and sets boundaries. Reset means transparency both ways starting right now. Location sharing, message audits, exit the side chats, she lists. Or we separate tonight and email logistics tomorrow morning. He stares at the blank television like it might advise him. Sharing our positions is invasive, he says through clenched teeth. You demanded visibility from me last month, Mom counters, crisp. He blinks twice, caught by the mirror he created, cornered. He grabs his own phone and thumbs through with urgency. A contact pops up under a fake name that isn't subtle. He hovers over delete and glances at our faces for permission. I cross my arms and wait for a choice, not mercy. He presses delete, then hesitates on the thread that matters. Call her, Mom instructs, voice steady like a plumb line. End it while we watch, then we talk equity. He swallows and hits dial with a reluctant tap, live. A woman answers with a bright hello that curdles on contact. It's over, he says, and his eyes flick toward the floor. No follow-ups, no meetings, no secret accounts, he adds. Silence grows, then a quiet okay, then the call dies. He lowers the phone but doesn't breathe yet. Mom taps her screen and opens a new window. She enables location sharing and sends him the invite. Accept this and we start rebuilding under scrutiny, hours. He accepts, then looks to me with a strange appeal. Do you monitor too? He asks, voice sandpapered and thin. I'm not your referee, I answer, stepping half a foot back. I'm here to keep the edges from cutting deeper. Mom reaches for a drawer and pulls out test forms. Tomorrow morning at 8, full panel for both of us. He nods once and rubs the back of his neck, cornered. No arguments, she adds, sliding a pen across final. He signs quickly, then pushes the pen away like it burns. Your partner already agreed to stop, he challenges with a glare. She heard me say it, Mom replies without blinking, cool. You heard yourself say it too, and now we verify. A knock lands again from the wall, heavier this time. Keep it down, the neighbor grumbles, voice dull with warning. I answer through the drywall with a short apology. The building falls quiet, but our room stays wired. Mom turns to me and lifts her eyebrows, choose. You want out of this triangle, step back tonight. I shake my head because distance won't fix momentum. I'll stay until the ground stops sliding, not before. He stands with effort and moves toward the doorway. Where are you going? Mom asks, stepping to block the exit. For water, he replies, and his throat clicks like gravel. Bring 2 glasses, she says, and holds his gaze, command. He returns with shaky hands and sets them down. We will schedule a mediator tomorrow, Mom continues, precise. Not for blame, for structure, for enforcement, she clarifies. He nods, reluctant but present, and the air recharges. I pull my phone and open a notes page. Ground rules for the night, I say, voice even. No sleeping in the same room, no whisper planning. We meet again in 30 minutes and no one leaves. He bristles at the timeline and checks the screen clock. 30 is fast, he argues, tension climbing up his neck. Fast prevents spin, I answer and look to Mom. She agrees with a small nod that lands like a gavel. We split for the break and nobody talks. I wash my cut and wrap it tighter, focused. Footsteps cross behind me, then pause at the doorway. When I turn back, both of them are watching, waiting. The timer buzzes and I step back into the room. Both of them wait at the table like fighters between rounds. I place my phone down face up and keep my hands open. Round 2, I say, and the air tightens. He unlocks his screen and tosses it my way. Check anything, he adds, jaw working under the skin. Mom doesn't touch hers yet, she watches him breathe. Start with your bank app, she says, and my spine lifts. He stops moving like a gear just jammed. Why money, he asks, eyes cutting toward the hallway. Because secrets need fuel, Mom answers, knuckles resting firm. I open the app and see transfers I can't place. Small amounts repeated across weeks, labeled with a bland code. Not huge, but timed to weekends and odd lunches. I slide the screen over and point at the pattern. What are these? I ask, and my mouth goes dry. Memberships, he says too fast, gaze slipping off me. Mom leans in and taps one line twice, June 15th. That's when you canceled date night, she states, voice clipped. He swallows hard and presses his lips together, pinned. Refunds then, he tries, shoulders climbing toward his ears. Show the receipts, Mom orders, index finger still. He scrolls and finds nothing except gaps. The silence lands heavy and my foot starts tapping. Okay, he exhales, finally looking up at both of us. I booked rooms that I never used after boundaries shifted. Which boundaries? I cut in, pulse punching my wrist. The ones I didn't want to hear, he admits, not proud. Mom turns her screen and opens the location map. Your dot vanished twice this afternoon before you deleted contacts. He flinches like the floor moved under him. Dead zones, he mutters, then shakes his head, weak. I grab the charger on the counter and hold it up. Plug in and share the battery report now. He hesitates, then connects and hands the device back. The timeline fills with hard edges and missing minutes. Those gaps line up with the payments, I say, throat tense. And with the nights you claimed late meetings. Mom doesn't blink, she matches each gap with a date. Confirm the hotels or deny them, nothing else lives here. He presses his palm to his face and drags down. 3 times, he forces out, voice thinning under pressure. No names, just rooms and room service. My stomach clenches and Mom exhales through her nose, steady heat. Then the rules broke before tonight, I say, words measured. And the outrage came after you got outpaced. He looks at me like I pulled a fire alarm. I felt replaced, he whispers, and the word cracks. Mom raises her hand and cuts that plea short. Replacement is your story, not the facts, she answers. You chased new first, you hit it, then you scolded me. He grips the chair back until his knuckles pale, corner again. We're still not safe, I add, pointing to the tests. You promised tomorrow, but these gaps make me doubt compliance. He nods once and reaches for his wallet slowly. He lays an insurance card down like a truce we can count. Appointment confirmations tonight, Mom says, tapping her watch. Screenshots sent to both our numbers before 10. He unlocks and books while we watch his thumbs move. A chime lands, then another, and my screen lights proof. Next item, I push, not letting the momentum stall. Work involved or personal only, I ask, eyes narrowed. He hesitates, then slides over a corporate email thread. A colleague appears often, too warm for neutral and frequent. Mom scans the subject lines and stops on one. Offsite debrief after hours, she reads, eyebrows cutting up. Hotel bar on 2 separate Fridays, she notes, jaw set. He tries a shrug that never lands, busted. Call her, Mom instructs, tone like a locked door. Clarify boundaries and end the extras tonight. He dials and puts it on speaker without being asked. The woman answers light, then goes silent when she hears us. We crossed lines, he tells her, voice calmer than before. I'm stepping back to professional only, no more side drinks. A beat, then a careful acknowledgement, then a dull goodbye. He hangs up and stares at his thumbnail like it might bleed. My phone buzzes again and a new text appears. An unknown number drops a photo of a parked car. Caption reads, nice talk earlier, with a winky face. I show them both and my chest surges, who is this? He blanches and looks at the floor like it might open. Someone I met through an app during the first month. You never mentioned her, I say, holding the screen steady. She found my profile again and won't stop, he confesses. Mom takes my phone and types a short response. Cease contact, she sends, then blocks the number clean. You file a report if she persists, she adds, eyes sharp. He nods, and for the first time he looks grateful, fleeting. We still need consequences, I say, because balance matters. No dates for 30 days, no hotel bookings, full mirrors. Finances pooled again, personal cards put on hold. Therapy twice weekly for you, weekly for both, non-negotiable. He counts the terms under his breath like tally marks. That's a cage, he argues, but he doesn't push away. It's a brace, Mom corrects, and her face doesn't soften. Braces come off when the bone holds, I add, precise. He looks at the door, then at our faces again. I can live with that if the map stays mutual. Mom opens her settings and mirrors the share without pause. I accept the request and watch 2 dots settle, synced, uneasy. Last piece for tonight, I say, aiming for closure. We draft a message to family before rumors arrive. Short, factual, no blame, updates after counseling begins. He exhales, then nods, then waits for the words to form, ready or not. Mom dictates and I type while he listens tight. Taking space to work on the marriage, requests for privacy. No emergencies, we will respond after sessions, she continues. I send it to a small group and hit deliver, done but trembling. We stand there like a triangle that finally found corners. He slumps into the chair but doesn't fold this time. Mom gathers the test forms and places them by the door. 7:30 out the door, she says, and nobody argues, not tonight. The 30 minutes end and my screen flashes a location pause. His dot froze near the garage for 6 minutes, then jumped. You disabled sharing, I say, pointing at the timeline. He lifts his shoulders like it happened by accident, it didn't. Explain the freeze, Mom asks, palms flat and ready. A call dropped, he offers, eyes sliding toward the door. Prove it, I answer, stepping between him and the hallway. He exhales through his nose and looks trapped. Decision time. Car, he mutters, reaching for his keys without asking. Glove box, he adds, avoiding our eyes on purpose. What's in there, Mom asks, voice clipped and steady. A prepaid, he admits, and my stomach tightens. New fallout. We go down together without discussion, and the elevator jerks. He moves fast toward the parking space and stops short. Give me a second, he tries, hand on the handle. No seconds, Mom answers, and I pop the door open. He pulls a small phone from the compartment and hesitates. I hold out my hand and he drops it in. The screen wakes and a row of messages blooms. Unknown names, hotel times, small instructions, all recent. Mom takes a photo of the thread and scrolls further. There's a pinned contact labeled Coach with 2 hearts. What is this, she asks, eyes sharp on his mouth. Gym manager, he admits, and the word lands heavy. Confirmation. Call him now, she orders, cool and precise. On speaker, I add, thumb already hovering over block. He dials and the line clicks alive on the first ring. Not now, a man whispers, then the call snaps off. Again, Mom says, not raising her volume. He calls back and keeps his voice neutral and firm. I'm done, he states, and his grip whitens on the wheel. Delete my number and lose the logs, he finishes, brittle. A slow breath across the line, then a flat goodbye. I erase the thread and remove the SIM without ceremony. He watches my hands like he's watching a verdict. This was the 6 minutes, I say, and nobody argues. Caught. Back upstairs, Mom spreads the photos on the table. We reset with full transparency and hard boundaries, she says. This phone goes in the drawer at my office tomorrow. He nods once, reluctant but clear, and waits for more terms. We add financial oversight tonight, I continue, words measured. Joint passwords, alerts for withdrawals, no private accounts. He grimaces and reaches for his wallet without prompting. 3 cards hit the table like markers, not enough. Where's the business line, Mom asks, leaning closer. His eyes flick to his jacket and then away. Bring it out, I say, and he follows the order. 4th card appears and his jaw flexes, cornered again. I open the banking app and register shared alerts. Each device dings and the sound stacks like nails. No stealth charges, no transfers without a heads up, I set. He nods, then wipes his palms on his jeans, uneasy. Mom picks up her own phone and composes a message. To the manager, she explains, fingers moving with purpose. Contact ends tonight, any attempt will be documented. She sends, then places the phone face down, line drawn. My screen buzzes and the clinic confirms first appointment. A second text follows with a check-in code for labs. Save both, Mom instructs, and I star them for reference. We arrive early and we wait together, no exceptions. There's a sudden knock at the door that isn't friendly. The neighbor stands there with crossed arms and impatience. Noise again and I call someone, he warns without ceremony. Give us 10, I answer, and he nods once, warning held. We sit back down and I open a fresh note. Consequences if contact resumes, I read as I type. Immediate separation, accounts split by mediator, announcement to family. He stares at the list, then signs under it, hands shaking. Mom stands and points to the couch like a referee. You sleep there, she says, leaving no room for debate. I'll monitor the phones from the bedroom tonight. He accepts the assignment and gathers a blanket, quiet compliance. I walk to the door and slide the chain, habit now. He clears his throat and looks up at both of us. I'll schedule the mediator after the tests, he offers. Do it now, Mom replies, and he reaches for his phone. He books the earliest slot and sends the confirmation. My screen pings with the calendar invite and a code. We accept in silence while the room hums with pressure. Tomorrow we start talking, tonight we enforce, I say, final beat. He lies down and pulls the blanket to his chin. Mom watches until his breathing slows into something steady. She turns to me and lifts her eyebrows like a question. I'll keep first watch, I answer, and the night waits, eyes open. My phone vibrates at dawn and a new number pops up. Open your door, the text reads, 3 words that skew everything. I check the chain and see an envelope slid under the gap. I pick it up while Mom watches from behind me, alert. Inside sits a printout of chat screenshots and a short demand. Pay me or your office sees this, signed with a gym nickname. I flip to the last page and spot hotel timestamps. The same nights we traced last night, now weaponized. Blackmail, mom says, arms crossing like a closing gate. He sits up on the couch, hair flattened by sleep. From who, he asks, but his stare drifts toward the door. Coach, I answer, and the air turns sharp again. He reaches for the papers and I keep them close. This goes to legal, mom states, already opening her email. And to the gym owner, I add, locking eyes with him. We disclose first, then he loses leverage. He nods once, shaky but present, and unlocks his phone. I'll draft my statement, he offers, voice flat with effort. Name the contact, admit the rooms, confirm it's over. He types while I photograph each page, evidence ready. A second text arrives with a countdown and a bank route. Transfer by 9 or your team gets a show, the message warns. I forward it to a folder with the rest of the proof. Extortion documented, I say, and mom nods, green light. We call the gym's front desk and ask for the owner. A manager answers instead, voice steady but guarded. Coach sent threats, mom says, and reads the exact lines. Save the cameras and preserve access logs, she finishes, firm. The manager goes quiet, then promises a callback in 10. We hang up and my screen ticks 1 minute forward. I'll also file with the police, I say, throat tight. No surprises later when this goes public. He flinches at the word public and rubs his temple. I'll tell my boss before the rumor lands, he adds. Short and factual, no spin, no blame, mom reminds him. He breathes in like diving and starts dialing now. The owner calls back fast and sounds awake enough to care. Coach is already suspended pending review, she informs us quickly. She asks for the screenshots and the envelope photos. I send them all, then request a written confirmation trail set. We head to the clinic and check in without small talk. He rolls up his sleeve and stares at the wall still. Mom signs forms and I scan the schedule for timing. Results promised by tomorrow, and none of us exhale. On the way back, my phone lights with a social alert. A vague post appears on a community board about a cheating spouse. Anonymous, but the details match our floor and schedule. I screenshot then freeze the share, this just escalated. Respond or ignore, I ask, heart thudding in my ears. Neither, mom decides, gaze steady on the dashboard. We post our own statement to family only, not public. We control scope, not the gossip, she adds, controlled burn. He drafts the family note and shows it to us. Working through breaches with professional help, no calls, it reads. Please respect privacy, updates after counseling, it ends. We approve, he sends, and my phone lights with read receipts. The gym owner emails again with a short update. Coach admitted sending the messages, security pulled his badge. They ask if we want to press charges beyond internal action. Yes, mom replies, and her hands stop shaking, resolve. Back home, the neighbor waits in the hall like a checkpoint. People are talking downstairs, he mentions, eyes flicking to the door. We handled it, I answer, voice level but loaded. He nods slowly, then steps aside, watching everything. Inside, I gather last night's rules and place them center. We add a clause for outside interference, I say. No responses to threats except through official channels. Any secret contact equals immediate separation, no debate. He signs the addendum with a tighter grip than before. Mom signs next, then hands me the page without comment. I initial the witness line and tuck it into a folder. Copies to the mediator before noon, I say, marching order. His phone buzzes with a number he recognizes and ignores. He flips it over and looks at me for guidance. Block, then forward to the case file, I instruct. He blocks, forwards, then places the phone face down, compliant. The clinic portal pings with 2 early confirmations. Samples accepted, labs processing, results tomorrow afternoon. Mom sets a reminder and shows us the timestamp. We meet the mediator after work regardless of results, she states. Another email drops from HR with a request to meet. He reads it once, then again, then nods quickly. I asked for a disclosure meeting today, he explains. Good, mom answers, and we watch the tension redistribute, new fire. I pull up a checklist for HR talking points, plain and precise. Disclose consensual contact, admit policy breach, outline corrective steps. Provide counseling schedule and the no contact commitment. He copies each line into a notes app, unblinking. We sit for a minute, not resting, just bracing. He glances toward the couch like it owes him sleep. Stop looking back, I tell him, and he straightens. We move or we drown, I add, no slack. The gym owner calls one more time with a firm decision. Coach is terminated pending the investigation's conclusion, contract frozen immediately. There will be a letter for legal and for the police. We'll pick it up at noon, Mom says, already grabbing her keys. Before we leave, my phone buzzes with a withheld number. A synthetic voice tells me to back off the complaint. I record the call and email the file to our case folder. Good faith ends here, I say, and my teeth click. Enough. Downstairs, I scan the street and note 2 parked cars. One idles with someone slouched behind the wheel, unmoving. I lift my phone and take a clear picture. The engine cuts, then the car pulls away, message received. Back upstairs, he opens his laptop for the HR meeting. Mom stands behind him like a witness with authority. He starts the call and follows the notes without flinching. When it ends, HR promises a policy review plus monitoring. Next move, I ask, pushing water toward both of them. We gather every proof into one drive, Mom decides. Separate folders for police, mediator, and HR, she assigns. I start uploading as her phone rings, the mediator line. Tomorrow at 6, she repeats, then meets our eyes. Bring the rules, bring the receipts, bring the timeline. He nods and rubs his wrists like cuffs just vanished. They didn't vanish, they tighten with purpose, and he knows it. Our devices chime in unison with calendar updates. Lab results window, HR follow-up, mediator session, gym owner meeting. The day stacks itself like a countdown to judgment. We look at each other and no one blinks, not yet. A final text arrives from a new unknown contact. Tell your mother to check her email right now. Mom opens the inbox and gasps once, short and contained. A video attachment waits with our door in frame, recorded last night. We play it and see the envelope slid under the threshold. The camera pans to show a familiar jacket sleeve. Not Coach, a different wrist with a scar I recognize. My stomach flips as the angle changes. Family just entered the story. I freeze the frame and zoom on the scar. 3 stitches across the wrist, crooked like a bad patch. He leans in and goes pale without words. That's your brother, Mom says, and the room tilts hard. I grab the keys and unhook the chain fast. No visits, I text the family chat with a warning. Then I call him and hit speaker before anyone blinks. Come up now, I say, and the silence hisses back. Footsteps rush the hallway and stop at our door. A fist knocks twice, strong enough to rattle the hinge. I open halfway and block the gap with my shoulder. Why the envelope, I ask, and his jaw tightens. For your own good, he answers, eyes cutting to my father. You two needed a push toward normal. Mom steps beside me with arms folded like a barrier. Normal doesn't arrive with threats, she says, and he flinches. He tries to step in and I hold the frame firm. Who filmed our door, I press, thumb still on record. Coach asked for help, he blurts, then catches himself late. My father stares at the carpet like it might swallow him. You teamed up with the man texting money demands. My voice lands heavy and my hands start shaking. Why go after us, Mom asks, gaze locked like a vice. To force a breakup before the neighborhood hears, he mutters. You planned a leak, I say, pushing the recording closer. You wanted to torch us so he'd look blameless. He lifts his palms, a crooked apology that never lands. I thought exposure would stop this game, he tries, weak. Leave, Mom orders, not raising her volume, not moving an inch. You will hear from the police within the hour. He points at my father like a final swing. You dragged us into shame, he spits and turns away fast. The door shuts and my father finally looks up. He's been in my ear for weeks, he admits, voice gravel. Pushing me to frame her as the problem. Mom laughs once without humor, then cuts it dead. I forward the recording to our case folder immediately. Then I dial the detective line and read the facts clean. They ask for the video and the audio and the texts. Uploading now, I answer, and my heart steadies under action. My phone blares with an unknown call mid-upload. A new thread arrives with a countdown and a location ping. Coach still trying, I say, showing them the screen. Mom dials the gym owner and loops the detective in. The owner confirms a trespass notice already in motion. The detective asks if anyone is outside our unit now. I check the peephole and catch a shadow at the stairs. Someone reading papers, I report, and the line tightens. Do not engage, the detective instructs with clipped focus. Uniforms inbound, keep recording, keep the door locked. I film the hallway through the chain while my father paces. Footsteps fade, then return, then fade again, circling. A text lands from the family thread like a grenade. Uncle claims we attacked him and tried to steal his wallet. I reply with the door video and the timestamp knock. Cousins go silent and the thread collapses into dots. The uniforms arrive and take statements one by one. I show the envelope, the scar, the calls, the timeline. Mom hands over the gym letters and the threat screenshots. My father finally offers his written confession, clear and complete. The officer reads the page and nods at the details. Next step is a no-contact order for both men. He notes the case number and pins it to our file. We'll reach out within 24 hours, he adds, moving on. My father closes his eyes and exhales like metal cooling. I choose the hard route, he says, staring straight ahead. Monogamy, counseling, full disclosure to work and family. No more side channels, no more allies in shadows. Then act, Mom replies, holding out her phone. Call your mother first and speak the truth. He dials without argument and puts it on speaker. His mother answers bright, then listens as his voice drops. I broke the rules, I lied, I ended everything. No excuses follow, just dates and steps and penance. She breathes out and asks if his wife is safe. I'm safe, Mom answers, crisp and steady, and ends the call. I open the drive and create a new folder labeled Fallout. I drop the officer's card, the gym emails, the recordings. Then I add a sheet titled Boundaries Enforced and dated today. We sign under it 3 names, 3 lines, 3 consequences. The clinic portal pings with a new message unexpectedly early. Prelims negative, I read, and my shoulders finally loosen a notch. Full panel tomorrow, the note finishes with exact time. Mom nods once, then looks at my father for reaction. He sinks into the chair but keeps his gaze level. No more outrage theater, he says, hands open and empty. I'll take the hit from HR and the family. You take nothing for my choices, he adds and means it. I pick up the prepaid phone from the drawer and crush it. Pieces scatter and the SIM snaps with a clean click. My father watches and doesn't object, just watches it end. Every secret device brings us back here, I say, and he agrees. A final text arrives, shorter and meaner than the rest. You think the cops scare me, it jeers like a dare. Mom forwards it to the detective without a single word. Then she turns to us and raises 2 fingers, plan time. 3 steps left today, she counts, eyes bright with resolve. Collect the gym letter, meet the mediator, inform HR. We go together for all 3, I answer, and my father nods. Unity feels mechanical, but it holds, and that's enough. We reach the gym and the owner meets us at the door. She hands over the termination letter and a camera report. Your brother assisted with access after hours, she states plainly. The footage shows him using a borrowed fob, undeniable. My father studies the frame and presses his lips tight. He takes the letter and slides it into my folder. File the restraining orders on both, he says without wobble. We finish this before anyone else tries to meddle. At the mediator's office, we sit across a low table. I place our rules and the timeline within easy reach. Objective is structure, not revenge, I open and the mediator nods. Mom adds guardrails, my father adds full access, the plan hardens. Accountability means broadcasts, the mediator notes calmly. Weekly reports to yourselves, monthly to neutral third. We can be that neutral third, I volunteer without blinking. They agree and the mediator drafts the first template, simple and strict. HR calls during the walk home and requests documents. My father forwards the statement and the counselor schedule. He adds the no-contact order draft and the gym letter. Thank you, the HR rep replies and sets a follow-up date. We climb the stairs and find an envelope taped to our door. No threats inside this time, just a printed apology. My uncle's signature scratches across the bottom like a scold. He asks for a meeting and names a quiet cafe tomorrow. Decline, Mom says, and I type the word without hesitation. Communication through counsel only, I add, then hit send. My phone dings as the detective confirms receipt of everything. Warrants in process, interviews scheduled, stand by for updates. Night edges in and our devices pulse with reminders. I set the couch again and check every lock twice. My father rolls out a blanket and doesn't look away. Thank you for not letting me lie, he says, voice rough. Thanks come after consistency, Mom answers, not unkind. Tomorrow you keep every appointment without prompting. He nods, then turns his face toward the ceiling and breathes. I watch the map show 2 dots holding steady, fragile steadiness. Before lights out, I write one more line in our log. Today we stopped outsiders from writing our story for us. I close the file and place the phone on the table. Across the room, 2 breaths settle in rhythm for now.